Today, we will cover some advanced strategies for winning in Fall Guys, so you can start racking up your own crowns and spend more time taunting the slowpokes behind you with saucy emotes. This video assumes you know all the basics of the game and its modes, which I cover quickly in this beginner's guide linked on screen and linked down below. You may pause this video and watch that video first to get caught up. Tip number 1, jumping on downward slopes gives you a boost in momentum. Be careful not to hit anyone while doing this or you actually will lose ground. This works great on modes like Gate Crash in the last half where you run down slopes, at the start of Whirligig, or the second half of DoorDash, just to name a few. Tip number 2, dive before landing to avoid falling down. Just before you hit the ground, you can dive if you think you're about to lose your balance and fall down. It's an excellent move on far drops like at the end of DoorDash or when landing on a steep slope like in Seesaw. I would consider this a core technique to the game, so its applications are probably limitless. Tip number 3, a careful jump is a winning jump. You are in a vulnerable state when you jump. If at any time during your jump you collide with anyone, it will cause you to fall down. A common mistake I see players making is they start a jump when they are currently standing against someone, causing them to fall immediately when they start the jump. This happens a lot on modes like DoorDash, where you are crowded together and asked to jump as a group. So take care to jump when you have some breathing room around you, and it will save you some time from falling down. Tip number 4, Whirligig boosters. When playing Whirligig, you can use the rotating bars to launch yourself forward. This is true on almost every area of the map, including the endpoint. It does take some practice to get the right angles, but when done correctly, it is a nice boost. Also, there is a jump skip towards the end of the level by going either left or right at the junction and then jumping to the middle platform with a dive. Tip number 5, run along the rails on Seesaw. On Seesaw, you can jump on top of the rails along the walkways to avoid being grabbed or knocked down by other players. If you take the inside rails, you will also get to the center of the next Seesaw slightly faster than everyone else. Tip number 6, roll out safety nets. In Rollout, you can use the walls on oncoming rollers as a safety net to make aggressive plays. Use this technique along with keeping a safe distance away from other people and avoiding the space where roller plates touch, as this is the easiest place to get grabbed and thrown off. Tip number 7, we will fruit in the shade. Fruit shoot is one of the modes that players struggle with at first. A safe and simple strategy to clear fruit shoot is to huddle inside the pockets on either side of the map. You can dive in front of these ledges to keep yourself from going backwards as well, and if you do it right, you can even get further ahead by doing this. It also helps you to avoid oncoming fruits by tucking inside these pockets. Tip number 8, skill up in ball control. In both Hoarders and Fall Ball, I see a lot of players that like to throw themselves into the moving ball as soon as they reach it. But to do this effectively all the time takes practice in knowing how to manipulate the ball to do what you want. It can be effective to let the ball tell you when to hit it. And by this, I mean engage with the ball when it is on a free course without interception from other players. It takes time to recover after hitting the ball, so you can let your opponent hit it and then chase it to a better collision spot. Patience goes a long way here. In Hoarders specifically, you can use this strategy to run zone defense. Sit on top of the entry ramps and hit uncontested balls. You're aiming for one of two things when you do this. 1, make the last place team worse by either blocking balls from entering their zone or preventing them from getting new ones. Or 2, make your team better by either keeping balls inside your zone or adding new ones to it. Preferably always try to steal from the third place team. Remember, 2 out of the 3 teams qualifies. So you can aim to win or you can aim to make a team lose, but in both scenarios, your team will end up qualifying. Tip number 9, light-footed. In the beginner's guide, I recommend not waiting at the start of Tiptoe and jumping out to find the correct path quickly. But metas shift as they are solidified. So if the lobby you are in is using this strategy, you can just use the opposite. Let the other players jump out and find all the wrong paths and wait for the correct path to be found and unlock to the second or third row. Then once you see it, simply jump forward towards the front of the line. Bim, bam, boom. Tip number 10, hard reset. In Fall Ball, you will currently spawn in the middle of the map if you fall into either of the goals. Use this after a score to teleport to the center and contest the newest Fall Ball to fall into the arena. So you can score and then jump straight back to the middle of the arena by doing this. Tip number 11, head above water. When you're trying to sabotage an enemy's team ball in Rock and Roll, avoid letting the ball get on top of you. Oftentimes, once you get under the ball, it can start to gain forward momentum again. It's more effective to simply touch and go to corral it like a sheep than to try and brute force it with your forehead. Tip number 12, short and sweet. As it stands now in Perfect Match, every fruit you encounter starts with a different letter. For some people, remembering them by their starting letter helps them keep track of what is on each tile. This won't work for everyone as it depends on how your memory works. Other players may find it easier to remember the fruit itself or maybe even its shape rather than its spelling. But I know some people really enjoy splitting grape into G and B for banana and then using the letters because they're easier for them to remember. And that does it for this video. I hope it has served you well and helps you grab more crowns in Fall Guys. Good luck out there, Fall Guys and Fall Gals.